What's up, guys? So, the second trailer for Metroid Dread has dropped this past weekend, and oh my god does it look amazing. I honestly think that Metroid Dread has potential to be a groundbreaking game for the 2D platforming genre, but more on that later. Now, honestly, I'm not exactly a Metroid fan. I remember playing the very first Metroid Prime as a kid, and the ambiance and aesthetic of the game freaked me out at the time, and once I hit the Parasite Queen fight, I had to call it quits. Because honestly, as a 6-year-old, I probably shouldn't have been playing the game in the first place. But after that, I pretty much steered clear of Metroid up until Other M came out, and we all know how beloved Other M is by the majority of Metroid fans. Which is also kind of why I hope that Nintendo does end up releasing the infamously rumored Metroid Prime trilogy that people have been talking about endlessly on the internet for ages. Because I never got the chance to play any of those games, and we all know how Nintendo feels about emulators. So, needless to say, now that the franchise seems to be returning to its former glory, I am extremely excited to play this game and experience firsthand what I have seen so many Metroid fans go on about when it comes to the perfection that is the 2D games of this franchise. So now, if you've watched my final recap video for the E3 that happened this year, I very briefly covered Metroid Dread's official announcement, and I am just going to cover it yet again. So at first, I honestly was kind of concerned with this game because they have changed a lot of the design of Samus's suit for Metroid Dread. Because if you've seen her in Smash like I have, or the cover of every other Metroid game aside from Fusion, her suit has sported her iconic orange, reddish, yellowish color scheme. And as a side note, I'm assuming the color for the suit is customizable because in all of the trailers that we have gotten so far, it has gone from white and blue from the first trailer, and now in the second trailer it is reminiscent of her iconic colorway, but also in this specific section, we see it appear as a purple and orangish color scheme. And from what I can tell, it all looks like the same suit. But anyways, as the original trailer from E3 continued on, I was sort of won over by everything that was happening on screen. And I was definitely excited to see more of the game, but I wasn't exactly 100% sold on it. And I guess the theme for Nintendo this year is apparently just securing my wallet with the second trailer for every single one of their games. Because first it was with Mario Golf Super Rush, then it was with the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and now finally with Metroid Dread via this new trailer. Which, though I don't really understand anything that's happening whatsoever, because as I said, I don't know much about the franchise, the internet is losing its goddamn mind over the Chozo that, according to the hieroglyphs, which look amazing by the way, and also kind of remind me of the Egyptian god Anubis, this dude is a gigantic Chozo that instead of being peaceful like they are known for, this specific one seems to have some serious intentions of harming our beloved intergalactic bounty hunter. And if you couldn't tell from it literally choking out Samus, it seems to be the reason why Samus loses all of her suit's upgrades at the very start of the game. And honestly, I'm really glad that the developers decided to do this, giving us a legitimate reason why she isn't super busted off rip, aside from just, hey, it's the start of the game and that's just how it works. Because, for example, with Assassin's Creed Revelations, in this game, they don't give us a reason why Ezio doesn't have all of the weapons from the previous two games he appears in, and it's one of my biggest gripes with these kind of games. But anyways, on top of all of that, they also show off a boss that kind of looks like Kraid from Super Metroid, and the cinematics for all of these fights look absolutely fantastic. And honestly, I think that if Dread does extremely well critically and sales-wise, which honestly I think it will do perfectly fine without a doubt, this game could change the future of 2D platformers for the better. Because sure, there don't exactly need to be third dimension cinematics for every single 2D game for it to be amazing, but I mean honestly, the dynamics of the boss fight as well as the cutscenes that are thrown in really pack so much of a punch to make the world feel more real to me, as well as making the situation feel a lot more believable. I cannot wait to see what else they are hiding from us when it comes to this game, and I also cannot wait to see what games that Metroid Dread will end up inspiring, especially considering how influential the Metroid series has been to the gaming industry for decades. Because if you weren't already aware, there is a whole subgenre of action-adventure games named after this series and Castlevania. So even if this game isn't as influential as I'm anticipating it to be, if anything, at least the dynamic of Metroidvania games definitely will be shaken up by Dread, if not the entire genre of action-adventures and even 2D platforming as a whole. But now back to breaking down the second trailer, they also show off some new power-ups that weren't shown in the original trailer back in June. which go from Samus's signature corkscrew attack to a grapple beam and a speed boost, as well as new abilities that allow Samus to run back and forth to confuse enemies and catch them off guard, and last but definitely not least, a lock-on ability that allows Samus to fire several missiles in any which direction she desires. Now, one last thing that I want to mention is that we don't see an Emmy at all in this trailer, which leads me to believe that they won't exactly be unkillable, or at the very least, they won't actually be the main major antagonist that we all thought it would be at first. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts of the new trailer. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will catch you in the next video.